Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the most magical show in the keyboard community. I'm your host, Merlin, and thank you for joining in. For those of you who are not new to the show, I normally start at 1:30, but I figure I gotta take care of some errands today, so I will be starting right now, actually. Let's see. My drink for the day. People are always wondering what I drink. I'm just drinking some honey, some actually guava, ginseng, honey, honey green tea. If you guys caught my Tuesday stream, you might have noticed that I did not have a voice. In fact, hey Olivia, thanks for joining in. Olivia was saying that I was talking like a husky smoker. As you can see, I'm all better. I'm not at 100 yet. I'd say I'm at 95. So hopefully by tomorrow will be 100. We'll see. Olivia says, new webcam. It's not a new webcam. It's still the same webcam, just that it's afternoon right now. It's 1 p.m. on the Saturday afternoon. So stuff is relatively bright. Yeah, yeah. How is everyone doing today? Let's see. Oh, wow. 27 viewers. Thanks, guys, for joining in. Thanks, guys. Let's see. All right. So today's itinerary is actually building one of my very first boards, and I'm unable to do this without the intervention of TKC, also known as the Key Company. They were so kind that they even sent me a shirt. Check it out. Check it out. Da, 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 da. Nothing on the back, unfortunately. Just black shirt with their logo up front. In fact, most things I'm building today are courtesy of the Key Company. That's what I'm working on. This guy right here. Oh my gosh. Want to see booty. Oh, you guys are gonna have to pay for that, man. You need to be part of like the tier 3 or tier 10. But yeah, this is what I'm working on today, guys. This is one of the very first custom keyboards that I built. Dolch Pac 60. I got this from a junk store, actually. I actually picked up 2 of them. I've sold 1 since then. But yeah, unfortunately, neither of them actually came with the original keycaps. So if you guys have never seen this board before, this used to be part of a bigger unit. Like this would attach to a computer about yay thick, running probably Windows 95 or so, and it was just like a network analyzer. And you would just use this to interface with the Windows app that was on it. You can still find some on eBay, I believe, because of our community. They're now going for like 600-700 because people want those, original GMK Dolch keycaps. But yeah, as you can see, I built mine with SA Hyperfuse. This one has a Jigon 1800 PCB that I've used off and on, but obviously not my firmware of choice. Special thanks to the Key Company. They have sent me a TKC1800. Olivia says, is TKC1800 NVIDIA? No, it is not, but it will be this Tuesday. Look at that, I haven't even opened up the PCB yet, but just from holding it in my hands, I can already feel that it's better than the Jigon PCB, just in its weight and its thickness. They also sent me a plate to put in. I'm not sure if I'll actually use the plate, simply because the original Dolch Pac was completely plateless, like most Cherry G80 boards, and I believe you need to cut parts of the case in order to put the plate in. Not sure I want to do that to a vintage board, but here, I just want to show you guys more of the plate. Tafram, thanks for joining in. Dunhanel says, ooh, that plate is pretty. It is indeed very pretty. Let's see, actually it goes like that. There we go. Look at that. Yeah. So the TKC1800 PCB is a replacement for the G80 1800 board. In fact, no, you don't actually even need to go on eBay to find those boards around. You can actually just go to, let me see. Ah, great. My KVD67 just crapped out on me again. Why does this never happen when I'm like not streaming? Here, hopefully it didn't quite die. Let's try plugging it in. Did it come back to life? Come back. Oh, yep, it came back to life. That's so odd. That's so odd. Okay. But anyway, what I was going to show you guys is you guys can actually pick up not only the PCB, but also a authentic cherry case that's been recolored by TKC. I believe it's only $229 for round 3. A stock is $219, but yeah, definitely check them out. Yeah, the only thing that I don't particularly like about this design is that it's still using the original cable, so you can't easily unplug and replug them. Yeah, Helpingly, thanks for joining in. Let's see, let's play some music while we begin this build. Let's go with jazzy again. No, actually, I've been playing jazzy these last couple weeks. So let's go back to a little bit of my lo-fi. Play. Okay, that's a little bit loud. There we go. There we go. That's cool. Okay. Okay, so first and foremost, I'm just gonna take off the caps from this bad boy. I don't exactly need to do this quite yet, but, you know. I'm running Cherry MX Reds on these guys. This was like the best linear switch back in the day. Such a big keyboard. It is, right? Yep, that is Cherry MX Red, alright. What a classic. I know. Oh, and there goes my caps. Classic board. So the original Dolch Pacs actually came with Cherry MX Blue. And not the Cherry MX Blue that we know today, but they were it was still MX Blue, but the stem was a light blue color. Not as dark as the ones we know of today, but that doesn't mean you should go out and try and purchase those. They still sound the same in my opinion. Cherry MX Pale Blues. I don't know what they were called, probably. Pale Blues, just that they were a lightly colored blue, not as dark as the ones that we have today. But yeah, these are authentic Cherry MX Reds from the 2014-2015 time period. That is half a decade old. Does that count as vintage these days? Cherry MX events. Oh man. So you guys can see there is very little keyboard crud on this. I feel like I used it for a good week or two, but there were some issues. Like, here, let me show you before I take off the spacebar. Look, that spacebar isn't flat all the way across, and when you type on it, It doesn't even go all down on the left side. This is like, this is probably how I built it. Me being a noob back then, not knowing how to properly lube stabilizers and all that. Oh, here, yeah, I guess I can show you guys some of my earlier soldering attempts once we take apart this board. Oh, but look at that. That's the reason why. Here, let me turn on. Oh, you guys can't see it. My light's not all the way on. But the reason why it doesn't go down is because the stab wire popped off. Wow, I guess I didn't know it back then. Such a noob mistake. Merlin, you're such a noob. Yeah, I no longer know where the original PCB is. Must have ditched it at the time. But if you guys come to meetups, usually, well, at least if you go to the Seattle meetups, there's usually 1 or 2 people with the whole setup, like the original Dolch Pac and the original keyboard, and they have it running. I've even seen some people replace the internals with modern components. I think at the Seattle summer meetup, someone had like a Dolch Pac 60 with USB 3 ports. He was running like Windows 10 on it. Yes, I am indeed going to KeyCon. I still have to buy tickets though. I already have the meetup tickets, but I don't have airline tickets quite yet. I do hear that because of coronavirus, tickets are mucho cheap. So probably now's the time to buy. I just hope that by June, this coronavirus thing will be blown over, and everyone will be healthy, no more deaths and all that. One can hope, right? One can hope. You will see me there. Well, I will see you there too. Definitely. I don't know people by their face. I just know people by their name. So if I don't say hi to you right away, don't be offended. But definitely come and say hi to me. I'll give you a big hint of how to find me. Just look for the guy with the wizard hat. Thornkin says, it should subside with warmer weather. Maybe, maybe not. We don't know quite yet. Oh look, here we go. I actually did keep the numpad blues. You're offended that I don't recognize your cute face? I'm sorry, man. It's $90 from Arizona. Dude, do it. Bye, bye, bye. Oh, gosh. NSYNC. Bye, 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 bye. That probably didn't sound very good with the jazz music, or with the lo-fi music in the back. Alright guys, yeah, this is one of my few remaining SA sets. You guys catch me in chats on Discord. I'm always complaining about how SA doesn't feel good to me. But back then it did. Back then it did. My views have changed considerably. Alright guys. Look, apparently I did keep the original blues. I don't have any modern blues to actually compare it, but please take my word that these are indeed a lighter shade. All right. Krite says, yeah, I think those are pale blues. All right, I will take your word for it. They don't sound any different from what I remember. Man, I am so curious about this board. Let's see, did I even lube these? I don't see any lube on the stabs at all. Oh wait, there's a little bit. Yeah, it seems for the most part, I did not lube these stabs at all. Man, what was I thinking? And these are PCB mount. Okay, PCB mount. Krite says, anyone else get GMK Ashes? I'm so excited. It was my first GB. Congratulations and welcome to the rabbit hole. I'm not jumping on GMK Ashes. What I'm jumping on is GMK Honey and possibly GMK Taro. Yeah, what you guys don't know about GMK Taro is back then, during one of the first runs, they came with boba novelty caps. No, my light's not on properly. Okay, but yeah, here we go. So these guys need to go on a board that matches. You know? So maybe I'll get that, but GMK Honey for sure. And the reason why I'm getting GMK Honey is because GMK Honey is the second GMK set out of Seattle. So I want to support my fellow Seattle brethren. Okay. Alright, let's take this apart. I should probably put the PCB together before I take it apart, but I'm just super curious about how I built this board. So we'll see. We'll see. It's been so long. Nope, that's too thin. Man, this guy hasn't seen. This guy's been beaten up. But I guess that gives it that good vintage appeal. It's been beaten up. GMK Kaiju, the one on drop right now. Yeah, I feel like no set really speaks to me this month, except like at GMK Honey, it doesn't really speak to me either. Even though I absolutely love yellow, it's just the only reason I'm buying it is because I do want to support my people, my Seattle people. All right, let's lift it up. Actually, let's lift it up from the top here. Ta-da! Oh, look. I put Dynamat on it just to make it heavier and dampen all of the rattling. And what you're seeing here is a contraption so that I could have a removable USB. So, yeah, I forgot what it looked like inside. I also put some putty in it just to lift up the PCB a bit. I may or may not need that with this new PCB. There we go. That's the Jigon PCB right there. Let's see. How is my soldering? How is my soldering back in 2015? Not bad. But what I'm noticing is that none of the joints look particularly shiny. So I wonder if I use lead-free solder for this. Oh well. Not that it matters anymore, because I'm probably just gonna toss this out. Like, I feel like it's not even worth it to desolder any of these Cherry MX Reds, so who knows? Who knows? Toss it out. Toss it out. And yeah, look, I put Dynamat across everything here just to make it heavier, I guess. All right, cool, cool. All right, just wanted to show you guys what I meant earlier about the plate not completely fitting. Here we go. Let's see. Quick demonstration. Quick demonstration. Okay, so one of the issues here is if you look at this arrow key formation here, then you take a look over here. I need to put grooves into each of these, which I'm not willing to do. But if you don't do that, what ends up happening is these guys don't fit all the way in. See? So the grooves that I need to put on are one up there, one on each side of the arrows, and yeah, looks like that's it. Kind of want to, but I also kind of don't. So, look at that. If I did, it would look like that. Nah, I won't use the plate. I'll probably just ask TKC if they want this back. I kind of like having the surface, I mean the PCB mounted stuff. Alright, speaking of what I'm putting on, I'm currently on a linear kick, so we'll be sticking with linear switches today. Also from TKC actually. Let's see. What I have done is use Tangerine R2, also from TKC, replace the top with a Cherry MX top and lubed it with 205G0. If this is going to be anything like my Satisfaction, this will be super smooth. Super smooth. And as I'm pressing on it, I can already feel that it's smooth. So hopefully I'm right. Unfortunately, I didn't buy enough switches, so I'll be replacing a few of them, especially the arrow keys with Gateron ink blacks. All right. Dutch Master says, you're lucky to have switches. Yes, I bought them as soon as they came live. Deskey says, does anyone know why the latest version of VIA 1.2.5 isn't recognized by KBD67, but an older version does? Which KBD67? Because things have changed a lot. All right, let's see. Where's that PCB? Here we go. PCB. Ooh. Kai says, do you want to part with your Satisfaction 75? No, I do not. It is probably the most unique board in my menagerie. So it is not something I will part with. Desk P says MK2 RGB. Which version of the MK2 RGB? There it goes. Look at that. Up here in the top right, it says designed by the Key Dot Company, and that looks neat. 2018 Rev 1.3. It's very nice. Look at that reset button at the top left here on the back of the board. Looks like we've got some external plugs. Shout out to TM. I don't know who TM is. Let's see. So one thing that's been interesting in the community is we're finding that ESD protection is actually quite important. And I'm trying to find an ESD protection switch. I mean, a ESD protection chip. And there's one here that looks like it. But I'm not sure because I can't read. It's too tiny. Who knows? Who knows? Ketchup, Mustard, and Onion says there's no hope of porting the Jigon PCB. Oh, it's definitely portable, but it requires that you flash the bootloader on your own, which is not something most people are able to do properly. Like, to be fair, most people aren't fully capable of flashing their board, so having to flash the bootloader is going to be an even monumental process. Krite says, what is ESD protection? ESD is electrostatic discharge. So if you rub your feet on the floor, you touch something, you can zap it. Normally it doesn't hurt things very badly, but if you touch your board, especially through the USB line, you can wreak much havoc. Currently, the boards that do have ESD protection only protect the USB line. So if you were to touch your microcontroller directly, you will still zap it. Let's see. Very cool. Very cool. Okay. We're gonna do what I said. I'm gonna do a plateless build. Plateless build. And before we do that, we're gonna do stabs. Okay. I'm gonna need backspace, enter, spacebar. Oh, that's 3 already. Left shift, that's 4. And then I like having the two U's, so 5 and 6. I need 6 stabs. Zambumon, hello there. Haven't seen you in a while. For the shout out last week about indirectly helping you with Nathan's board. Yep, I'm gonna need 6 stabs for this. My choice of stabs is going to be, let's see, Everglide ones, or Durocs, I mean. Do I even have enough Durocs here? I should. My little stash. All right. Okay, I'm gonna use 6.25 U, so we got the spacebar covered. So now you have backspace, enter, left shift, or left shift, I guess. And then you want the plus key, then you want the enter key. Oh yeah, Novelkeys sent me a replacement for one of my stabs because it broke, or I received it broken. Let's see, where did he? I saw them yesterday. Let me get them real quick. Probably still in. Oh god, did I leave it in the car? I probably left it in the car. Well, anyway, good thing I am building a PCB mount board, so I can worry about that later. Let's see, people are talking about C3 stabs. I actually have a bunch of C3 stabs. got like 4 more of these. I am hesitant to use them because I do use PBT caps, case in point. And I've heard that they particularly don't work with ePBT. I've heard mixed reports of other PBT caps not working, so I'd rather stay safe. Okay, we gotta lube all these guys. Lube, lube, lube. I like to lube using 205G0 and dielectric grease. Olivia's build had C3 stabs. Yes, she did. And if you missed out on Olivia, the Olivia ++ colored C3 stabs, those were the retooled ones. What's your take on GMK keys? I love them. They're probably one of the best ABS key sets that we have available. Clavier says hi. Oh, I'm sorry. Presenting King of the Keyboards, Clavier. Yeah, so a few days ago, Clavier made another keyblade in the shape of an Excalibur blade. Well, I guess anything can be in the shape of an Excalibur blade. And he posted on his Reddit that I called him King of the Keyboard or something. That's true. Clavier is always lurking. Clavier, when are you coming to Seattle? We need to hang out. I'm sure our mutual friend would love to see you too. Dutch Master says, does anyone use dielectric grease and Teflon for stabs anymore? Sure. Just because the community has moved on to using 205G0 doesn't mean it's no longer a viable way to lube all of your stabs. For the longest time, I exclusively used dielectric grease, and even this is the same tube of dielectric grease I was using in 2015. There's just so much of it. You only bought it for $8 too. You've never tried 205G0. I would say you should only use 205G0 if you have a lot of it. Dielectric works just great. 205G0 kind of makes it just a tiny bit better. And at the cost of 205G0 versus dielectric grease, you really don't want to just be using it for stabs unless you have a lot, like me, right there. And this is not my only tub. I have 4 more that are about half the size of this each. So, which is why I am perfectly fine using this on stabs. Where do you buy that much at a time? Never at a time, actually. I try to buy them in like increments. This first one here was gifted by one of my sponsors, Project Keyboards. The rest of mine I bought from Ash Keebs up in Canada when I went up for the Vancouver meetup a few weeks ago. And I have a couple 3204s. And a few that I bought from Krelbit as well. Yeah, I have a lot. And one thing I've learned about this hobby is if you don't think you'll need it, like within the next week or two, but you think you'll need it in maybe 2 or 3 months, it's still better to buy it anyway, because in 2 or 3 months, there might not be any stock. Like, lube is one of those things that you can easily be like, nah, I'm not gonna bother lubing. I just want to build my board because I'm so excited. So just always have the lube on your person, I guess. You'll never have an excuse to not lube. Let's see. Kigan, thanks for joining in. Are those Zeal stabs? No, they're not. These are Durock stabs from Novelkeys. Neurotical is desoldering an Corsair gaming mech to harvest the cherry browns. Why? What are you hoping to use those cherry browns for? Been on the fence to replace the KBD67 Mark II stabs. I've replaced mine with the GMK ones. I wasn't too sold on their marketing, saying that, oh, these are authentic cherries. Neurotical, can't find tactiles that you like as much. What tactiles have you tried? Mountain Block says, happy Saturday, everyone. Oh yeah, Mountain Blocks, I did receive your message. I just haven't had time to reply to it. Work has been super hectic these days, even while work from home. Well, Neurotical, maybe you are just a light to almost linear type of tactile person. This goes to show that, you know, this hobby is totally preference based. You know, people can like blues even. People can make blues, people can like browns, people can like Alps, you know. Which is awesome, because I feel like if everyone liked the same thing, you know, if everyone liked the same keyboard, the same key sets, and the same switches, you'd go to a meetup and you'd see like the same thing everywhere you went. Like super boring. You're like, oh yeah, I've got that board too. Oh. Like the only thing you would really be comparing is how people built it, and that's not really something you can tell during a meetup environment. You want all the linears. Yeah, I'm very much a linear person nowadays. That's not to say I don't like tactile. This board is a tactile board. I'm running Yawk Trash Pandas on it right now. Krite has Telios and he loves them. Awesome. You really like lubed Milky Gat yellows. Yeah, my reference board uses those. I need like better caps for my reference board, something that matches the color more. All right, okay. That should be good. Yeah, now that I'm doing screw-in stabs, I wonder if that will improve the feel of things. Right, because like what? This guy right here used PCB mount ones. Like pop one out really quick. Pop, pop, pop. Hammer Brothers says, any idea when the KBD75 VIA firmware will be available to the public? The firmware is already available to the public. You just have to compile it yourself, I believe. I committed that quite a long time ago, and it's dead again. Shoots. Looks like I'm really gonna have to change out the PCB on this guy. Alright, there we go. He's alive. Okay, let's see. Firmware downloads, KBD75, is it on? No, it is not on Can I Use VIA yet, but it is available in QMK. So definitely check it out if you're interested. Yeah, I'm looking at my spacebar here. There is some lube, but not very much. Man, I must have been either... Oh look, I didn't even clip them. Holy cow. This is how I built stuff in 2015. Did not clip, did not lube. Shoots. Oh well. I have learned much since then. Hopefully. Blue Luster, these are Durock stabs. I don't know, the KBD67 has issues. Hammer Brother says, where can I download it? You can't just download it, you need to compile it. But it is in QMK firmware right now. But even with that said, you can download the firmware, but VIA doesn't support it yet. Wilbur hasn't approved my PR, so I don't know. Maybe it'll take him a few more days. A few more days, a few more weeks, who knows. Neurotical, what is all involved with porting firmware to VIA? Number one, you need a QMK firmware with VIA enabled and a few other things. Number two, you need VIA itself to support it. So you have to commit code to 2 different repositories. If you want to see the whole process, definitely tune in on Tuesdays or catch any of my previous VODs. If you watch some of the first ones, by first ones I mean like when I first started doing VIA, Olivia was actually live helping me. I found a few bugs for her. Yeah, definitely check those out if you got the time. Okay, so if you were to port a brand new keyboard into QMK, I would say its difficulty factor, especially if it's got especially if it's a supported microcontroller, is probably around 7, with 10 being like the absolute hardest. VIA support, I'd say maybe 2 or 3. Ooh, let's see. Got a few people who just followed. Helix9, Keyjam, Dutch Masters, thanks for following, guys. Pank17 has subscribed. Thank you so much, man. Delicately Salted just followed as well. Thanks, guys, for all that support. What am I drinking today? If you do !drink, you will see what I'm drinking. but I'm just drinking some tea today. Neurotical tried to run VIA. Which VIA did you run? There are various implementations of VIA open for the DZ60. Yep, that's probably why. Don't do that. Please, please try to stick with the official ways, because if you run into issues, can't really help you if you're using an unofficial VIA. All currently supported VIA boards can be found on Can I Use VIA. If your board does not appear on that list, let someone know how badly you want it. But if you happen to have VIA and it's still not on that list, you are most likely running a build that is non-kosher. So yeah, good luck. Okay, let's put these on. Put these on the PCB. Man, I think this might be the largest board that I build on stream. Like, even for myself. I think, yeah, this might be the largest board that I've ever built for myself. For customers, the largest board I've ever built for a customer is a 65%. Keegan says, so grateful to you and the others on the VIA team. Thank you. I'm not officially part of the VIA team. I'm just a contributor. But Keegan, thank you for subscribing with Twitch Prime. All right. VIA is a absolutely amazing tool for people who change key maps often. But if you already have a set key map and you have a bunch of boards that use the same key map, have the same layout, and you use the same key map, QMK, I think, is still the better option. Well, VIA is QMK, just that, you know, regular old QMK is all command line driven. Come on, clip in. Oh, did my hat hit the mic? Yep, my hat hit the mic. Can Hasu's TMK FC660 work with QMK? Yeah, it is. QMK was forked from TMK. In fact, I think that's already in QMK. So just flash QMK instead of TMK. Come on. Clip in. Clip in, will ya? There we go. Okay. Oh, I love it when it clips in like that. Okay. Spacebar. It's the last one. Yeah. Perfect. My hat keeps hitting the mic. Sorry, guys. I should get like a shorter hat or something. Or maybe I'll get something custom made. That would be cool. A custom made hat. I just have to find someone who's capable of crocheting or something. Okay. Gotta put the screws in now. Put the screws in. Meister Manny, thanks for joining in. I am in the middle of building or rebuilding my Dolch Pac. Oh look, I finally found them. That's what I needed. Hooray. Okay, I guess I'll just reload that one really quick. Alright. Okay. Let me just do the lube for this guy really quick, and then we can continue. Now that I found those missing stabs. Thornkin says Hasu runs QMK. Originally TMK. Hasu is the founder of TMK, actually. He, believe it or not, he single-handedly wrote all that. And QMK has just leveraged all of his work. Like, we've added quite a few more items to it to make QMK easier to use. We've also added a ton more documentation, but a lot of the core features, like the way that QMK works the way it does, or the fact that it works at all, is all because of Mr. Hasu. These are Durock, right? Yes, these are Durocks. Available from Novelkeys. All right. Hammer Brothers says, didn't know that. Prior to QMK TMK, was there any other firmware that was popular? Yes. Well, maybe not prior to it, but maybe around the same time it came out. This is where all the Korean firmware was really thriving. The most popular, I believe, was Bootmapper Client from winkeyless.kr. followed by probably the Jigon stuff and the O2D from Duck. Yeah, this was around the time that all that was super popular. Meister, that is correct. I'm using 205G0. And I will be using dielectric grease on the wire. Which I absolutely just forgot, actually. Holy crap. I just forgot to do that. Holy crap. I guess I'll have to take it out of the PCB. There. Alright, Merlin. You're going too fast. Gotta stop and think. Stop and think about what you're doing. Thanks for asking that question, because if you hadn't asked that question, I probably would have totally forgotten. Fossil Parrot, thanks for joining in. He says, I'm a noob. I bought 65% Red Samurai for my An Pro. That's gonna look great. Red Samurai is one of those sets which people didn't think it would look good until it was manufactured. Well, to be fair, I feel like a lot of sets are like that. Like, that's how I felt about GMK Mizu. I saw it at NorCal and I knew that I absolutely had to have it. So I had to buy it as extras from Dixie Deck. Alright. Shouldn't take too long, I hope. You have the Mizu mat. Oh guys, so when I went to Vancouver, I got a bunch of desk mats from them. This was the Vancouver Meetup desk mat. And they're all black, you know, so I was kind of like, that doesn't really change the look of my stream if I use it. I also noticed that they're thinner, but at the same time, I still wanted to use it. So I ended up double matting. You know, by putting 2 mats in. So look. Mat under a mat. I can really notice that even with the thin mat underneath it, like, it seems to have dampened vibrations. Are you going to film the switches or did you already? I already did. If I were to lube and film switches during a build stream, this could conceivably be like a 5, 6, or maybe 7 hour stream. That's gonna be hella boring. And I do not want to subject anyone to that. I do like lubing streams though, but I try to keep those at an hour. Because honestly, it is fairly boring. You would enjoy a filming stream. But I would not. I guess I'll talk about some things I'm thinking about doing on the channel. There's some games coming out that I really want to play, but I don't have time to play them. So my wife is like, why don't you stream yourself playing it like a lot of other people do? That way, you'll have time to play them. And I'm like, that's not a bad idea. So the game that I really want to play is not actually out yet. It's called Peace Island. It's a game that was run on Kickstarter, and it's not really, it's like an adventure type game. And you don't play as humans, you play as cats. And you explore the island. You explore Peace Island, and you try to solve the mystery of where did all the humans go? Hammer Brothers says, smoothest mat I have. I'm not surprised. Yeah, like, I got my wife tickets to the Vancouver meetup. But she only hung out for like an hour, then she got bored, and she went out shopping, so I still got her mat. Maybe I should have just given it away or something to someone who was not part of the first 200 people. Alright, we got them. Got them all dielectric greased up. Hooray! Can officially put them on again. Round 2. This time they're lubed. Panda 11 says the Vancouver dust mat is so thin. Well, you have to understand, they gave them out for free, which is really awesome. Well, maybe not free, but as part of the first 200 people. And if you had them like the same thickness as the Novelkeys one, you'd probably be spending a lot more money. So that's probably why. That's probably why they're so thin. I'm gonna see if Seattle wants to do that too, because I think that's great. Like, as part of our entry prizes, we do t-shirts. But you know, like, it's just a t-shirt. It's not really mechanical keyboard related. But a dust mat would be pretty awesome. Awesome dust mat. First year was a little 3D printed cube thing. And second year was a small keychain, and this year was pretty awesome. Yeah. I'm very surprised with the turnout. To be honest, I think out of all the venues I've been to so far, okay, so the meetups I've been to are Portland ones, Seattle ones, the Houston one, Vancouver, NorCal, and SoCal. But I'd say that the Vancouver meetup venue was the nicest one I'd been to. Like, nice not in it's got all these amenities, but nice in terms of there was plenty of space and the tables were really spacious. Yeah, it's been, yeah, and it was really cool that they had water everywhere too. There we go. The one thing I didn't like about it is there was a very hard meetings. The meetup starts at, when did it start? At like 1 p.m. So they didn't let anyone in until 1 p.m., which isn't bad normally, but when it's raining and cold outside and a line is starting to form, I think there should have at least been like a lobby area people could hang out in. Like, I just ended up going to the Starbucks. I didn't like getting wet. All right, screws. I need screws. Yeah, it's like at the beginning of the meetup, it's fine and all. Like it's pretty cool. It's pretty, you know, no one's really complaining. But then you start to get like 100, 200 people, and then it starts to get really hot. Like I was watching this one person just sweating, and I could see them type on someone's board, and I looked at the board afterward and there was like tiny droplets of sweat on it, and I was like, ew, ew. Of course, nothing beats like the second Seattle meetup. One of my former coworkers used to run the Seattle meetup scene, and he set one up at Victrola Coffee on Capitol Hill in Seattle, and we somehow got like 24 people in a small back room of a coffee shop in the middle of August. So I think everyone bought at least 5 drinks. It was so hot. At the end of the meetup, people's shirts were completely drenched in sweat. It was not a good look. Not a good look at all. Yeah, Pandalam says super lucky to have it that time and not like now. Dodged Corona. Yeah, I believe any meetup these days is gonna be canceled. Speaking of meetups being canceled, if you guys are on my Discord server, if you want to be part of it, do !Discord and you'll see the link for it. But if you're on my Discord server, I kept changing the start of the stream simply because I was going to have lunch with a bunch of former coworkers. There was a huge party of us too. Like, I think 20 people had RSVP'd. But we called it off late last night just because some of my coworkers are older, and it just wasn't safe. Oh, better safe than sorry. Yeah, it's not really a concern for people who are young, healthy, and strong, I guess. But you know, all of us have parents, right? You know, and parents get older. You know, so even though you may not be affected, but if your parents or any other family members are over the age of 50, you should be careful. Like you might be completely fine, but you also might be a carrier. Yeah, I've had to cancel my Shanghai trips, but before Shanghai, I was gonna stop by in Taiwan for a bit. That one still seems to be happening because I haven't been able to cancel my tickets without any penalties. But depending on what my wife says, we'll play it by ear, see if you want to go or not. Supposedly, Taiwan has the best medical care for coronavirus at the moment. I fully attribute that to their experiences with SARS back in the early 2000s. Right, the last screw. The last screw. All right. Before we start soldering, we should actually probably check that the PCB works. Vietnam is doing a pretty good job. They've got a, let's say, they have a song to remind people how to wash their hands. And apparently it's super catchy that people have started doing like dance choreography for it. Yeah, if you guys look on Instagram or something, there some of the Instagram influencers are coming up with their own dance moves. Let's see. Okay. Unfortunately, this board still uses mini B, not C. But we'll do what we can with it. Let's see. Let's plug it in. Plug it in. It is plugged in, and there is no inclination. Did my keyboard die again? Yeah, it died again. All right, that's it. No more KBD67. No more KBD67. Let's do, it's another board. Let's do, here. No more KBD67. Let's do NK65. There we go. My KBD67 has been acting weird for the longest time. But it's never like when I'm streaming. I mean, it's always fine when I'm streaming. Let's see, what did I want to look at? Let us check. Here we go. We are just going to check that the PCB works before we continue any further. Escape. Hooray. So far, so good. Yeah, if you guys have never built a board before, this is something you absolutely need to do before you start soldering, because nothing sucks more than spending an hour, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours putting a board together, then when you plug it in, finding out that it was broken to begin with. The worst part about that is you can't like complain to your vendor and be like, oh, it was broken when I got it. Because they can always say, how do you know that it wasn't your soldering that killed it? And you can't. So far, so good. Oh, so you guys might have seen that my greater than symbol turned red. What that means is there's chatter. Chatter occurs in the switch, and when you're trying to simulate a key press using using tweezers, you can't really keep your hands completely still. F11 did do something, it moved my screens around, so I know that it works. Hello, that's not what I wanted. Okay. All right, let's check this numpad. Hello, numpad. Oh, that's insert, home, page up, print screen. What's this? Dell. Oh, you know what? This PCB actually labels what the keys are supposed to be. Super helpful. There. Scroll lock. Come on, scroll lock. There we go. Looks good. Thornkin says, which keyboard checking tool that is? This is QMK Configurator. So you can see, here we go. Yeah, QMK Configurator has a test button. Here, let me show you guys really quick. See, so this is how you guys are all used to with QMK Configurator. There's a button here. Right here. Oh, you guys can't see my mouse. Oh well. But if you hover over it, it's this rightmost green button. There we go. It says Test Keyboard Input. And when you click on it, it goes to this page. All right. It seems like my scroll lock wasn't triggering, but that's fine. I'm not too concerned. Not too concerned about that. We can get to soldering. We can get to soldering. No problem. All right, all right. Where are those switches? Alright, hopefully this is gonna sound so much better now. Thornkin doesn't think he ever noticed. Most people won't notice it. A lot of people still like to use switch hitter. So someone in the community has switch hitter on their Dropbox or something. And people just pass that Dropbox link to and fro. I actually don't know why Elite Keyboard stopped sharing it on their website. Such a useful tool, but only Windows based. VIA has its own switch testing tool as well. And VIA works for Mac OS, Windows, and Linux. All of the above. You don't always want to look at the screen. Yeah, I think, yeah, QMK configurator doesn't have a noise. At least I don't think so. Here, let's see. Does it have a noise? Yeah, there is no noise. There is no noise in QMK configurator either. But VIA has a noise. And not just any noise, it's actually musical. I think they just have that chromatic scale on it. I was telling Olivia that they should do like a VIA fundraiser and just have people submit tunes that they've made using VIA. I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah, on Tuesday, I'm actually gonna try and get this board into VIA. But I'm slowly discovering that there are issues with large boards. I recently submitted a PR for the Duck TCV3, and I included VIA support in it, but encountering issues. The board is too big, or it's not really the size of the board that matters, it's the size of the EEPROM on the microcontroller. So if you have a board with many keys and you're using an Atmega 32U4, you will have issues. Poner says Mac Merlin, it already is. The TKC1800? Are you sure? Let me take a quick peek. Not according to the Can I Use VIA website. Oh, maybe it's just out of date. Not merged yet. Okay, well that solves my problem. I don't need to worry about it then. But I looked at QMK and I'm not seeing any firmware submitted for it either. So, yeah. I guess we'll see. Yeah, Poner, if you want to send me a hex and a JSON, you can probably play with it. The TKC1800. I think he first started releasing these back when I went to the Houston meetup. I think that was early 2018 or something. That's where I met Dixie. I met Dixie for the first time, and 10 Strong, a couple other folk. Feels good to sell everything you list on an MM pose. Yeah, I know what you mean. I still have a box of random stuff I'm trying to get rid of. So lately I've just been giving them away at the Seattle meetups that I attend. It's like boards that I've received for like review or, you know, stuff like that. I think a 1800 has a little over 100 keys, if I'm not mistaken. Whitpax, thanks for joining in. Any lubers that I recommend? Well, I'm a luber myself, but other than myself, I would recommend Straight Classy and Ragin' Asian. I think Straight Classy is located in Utah and Ragin' Asian is in California. I'd also recommend Kelly87, who is in Massachusetts. I think that's where he is. I am located in Washington, the Corona capital of the United States, unfortunately. Sounds like you're feeling better. Yes, I am. My voice has cleared up, but I'm still drinking hot tea. Today I'm drinking some guava ginseng with a little bit of honey. All right, let's see. I always get tripped up by this bottom row. How do I want this? I want 3 on the left and 2 on the right. Gotta do this with actual keycaps so we don't screw it up. Here, control. There's the alt. Hyper. Use another alt. caps lock. There we go. That should do the trick. Okay. I don't know. Okay. Need to put on that space bar so I can be absolutely sure. Okay. Looks like... There we go. And there we go. There we go. What are those stabs? These are Durocs. Available from Novelkeys. Okay. Alright. For the most part, that was straightforward. Man. Okay. Okay, I did say I was going to use Gateron inks. If I can find them. There we go. I use slightly heavier switches for my arrow keys. Mainly because I don't have that many tangerines. Shh. But these are still top tier switches. Guess that should be fine, right? Look for straightness. Yeah, that's one thing that I have to be concerned about, especially on these multiple layout ones. Whew, that is a lot. Okay. Yeah, back then, around the same time that I first built this Dolch Pac, the 2015 time period, plate wasn't exactly a very, getting plates wasn't as common. So many people who were new to the community ended up making a PCB mount board. And of course, you know, people, it's exactly what Meister said, that a lot of people didn't know that you had to keep your switches straight. So if you look at photos, especially on Geek Hack, from that time period. You'll see a lot of people with maybe their J keys a little bit skewed, all that stuff. Well, it was mainly on the multi-layout switches, or like on boards that supported Alps and MX. But for the most part, it was fine. Fatuti says, I see a keyboard, I click. Oh, speaking of seeing a keyboard and you click, the Seattle meetup likes to hold the winter ones at the Living Computer Museum. The Living Computer Museum has shut its doors in light of the coronavirus outbreak. Well, guys, I actually don't need these Garon inks. I have plenty of these tangies, so let me just scrap that idea. Awesome. I guess I miscounted earlier when I thought I would need them. Perfect. That makes me a lot happier. I have the exact amount of switches needed. Merlin can count. Look at that. Look at that. Alright, soldering time. Soldering time. TKC products on a TKC board. What more can you ask for? Alright, and I apologize, guys, when I turn on my solder fume sucker, so it's gonna sound a little loud. Probably gonna move things around there. Hopefully it's not that loud. Alright, let's do this. Turn on the soldering iron. Pac says, when is the Strobe Cat stream? I don't know. I need to learn how to design a PCB first. Right now, I don't really have those skills. Well, designing a keyboard PCB isn't too difficult, but as I mentioned on that stream, I needed to learn how to design a voltage regulator so that I could properly use that battery without blowing up. Can Wilbur teach us all? About what? About making a PCB? I can actually, not I, but I03 can. He's got that PCB guide. Duck Butter says, what cost? Because of the nature of how vintage this board is, I would say it's at least a couple hundred. You can buy the Dolch Pac 60 for maybe Without keycaps, maybe 200 plus shipping. Then you have to get the PCB. The PCB I think is 50 bucks, 50, 60 bucks. Then you have to buy the switches, which is another 80 bucks. Then you factor in the time that you spend in lubing. The time spent lubing, the time spent, or finding the cherry tops as well. Let's say you're around the $400 mark right there. Then you factor in keycaps. For me, I'm using SA Hyperfuse. I think that was a $220 set. So yeah, about 500 to 600 this build. This is also a board that I've had for the longest time. It's the first custom that I attempted to make. Wow. I might need... Woodpack says, I really want to go in on my first group buy board. Well, if you want to get in on your first group buy board, you need to have at least, what, at least 200 available? I think that's if you want to get in on the KBD fans ones. Oh yeah, Whitpack, you should consider GMK Honey. That's from Holy Collis, who is from... I think he's from Tacoma as well, man. Go and support our Seattle folk. You really like that set. You think you'll wind up getting it. Yeah, it's currently on Canon Keys. I think you have until the end of the month to do it. You hope the rose gold is nice, says Olivia for Polaris. Okay. I'm gonna regret not getting in on the Polaris. But I will resist the urge to buy aftermarket. I told you to get it. Okay, so let's see. what was I doing at the time? I had just gotten the KVD67, which, as you guys who have been watching since the start of the stream know that it's not working out for me. Not working out for me at all. PCB has died 4 times on stream. Which one did I wish I got? I've forgotten what the colors were. I just wanted one. A cheap gasket mount 60. Permeability says, why replace the tangerine tops with cherry tops? It's because UHMWPE, which is the type of plastic that the tangerine is made of, sounds horrible. It has this high-pitched noise that doesn't sound good to me. So to increase the amount of thock that it has, I figured I could film them and also put a different top. And I was right. Though, to be honest, part of the novelty of the tangerine switch is that it's orange with a green stem. It looks like a pumpkin. So, as much as I like the novelty, lately I've really cared about how my boards sound. Does it compensate having bad sound with having better smoothness? Yes, it does. It is one of the smoother switches in our community right now. UHMWPE is a very slick material. Is it smoother than Telio's V2? Stock-wise, I think so. It just sounds bad. Like Telio's, for me, part of what makes a great switch is the overall experience. You know, like if it's super smooth but doesn't sound good at all, I wouldn't really like the switch. And the converse is true too. If it sounds absolutely perfect, but it's not smooth, like vintage blacks, I'm not gonna like that switch either. It needs to have both qualities. Like, doesn't necessarily need to have the best of both qualities, but a decent amount of both qualities is good. Gateron inks do not use UHMWPE. Olivia says shots fired. I know, I'm just still tired of vintage blacks. Okay. So around the same time, like this was stuff that I've been doing in the past, like 2015, I collected so many vintage blacks. And around sometime last year, actually, I finally took the best, or my perceived best, of those vintage blacks, and I put them in a board. And I was sorely I was thoroughly disappointed. I was like, my Gateron yellows are smoother than this. Actually, let's do it this way. Shots fired. I actually don't know anyone in the community who adamantly champions vintage blacks these days. Like, if you can find a good set, then yeah, they're great, but I don't think there's anyone that I know who just says, alpacas? Telios? Tangerines? Nah, vintage blacks is supreme. You think prior to the ink train, vintage blacks were more popular? Possibly. The ink train really did wonders for our community. Alright, so you guys might be seeing me picking up the PCB and just reflowing the legs. It's looking like I don't need to do that because with a plate you can't see if it's flush, and doing that seems to help. But now that I'm not using a plate at all, I don't need to worry. It's not a cause for concern. So in the interest of time, I'll stop doing that. Maybe just on the switches that are multiple layout. No. And just as I finished saying that, I reached my first joint where there's a big open hole. It's the enter key. It supports ISO. So let me just be absolutely sure that that works out. There we go. Looks good. Dolch Pac subscribing with Twitch Prime. Thank you, man. And I just hit the next one too. Here we go. Just got Prime. Yay. Twitch Prime is awesome. I need to like use mine too. I forgot the next Twitch streamer that I want to give it to. Maybe I'll give it to one of my coworkers who's doing the Twitch thing too. He streams Final Fantasy stuff, which I'm not really into, but you know, he's my coworker. Panda 11. Man, I still need to get all of my emotes up. Oh man, this is like the largest board I've ever done. I think prior to this, the largest board I'd ever done was a TKL. No, not even a TKL, a 75. What was my first GB? I think DSA Granite. DSA Granite. I forgot who ran it. Oh, Drop, or Mass Drop at the time. Pork Chop Express, thanks for dropping in. Yeah, I used DSA Granite for the longest time. It was on my Duck Eagle. Well, it's still on my Duck Eagle, but I used it on several iterations of my work 60%. And yeah, DSA is one of my favorite profiles because of it. Zambumon! Zambumon, any news on Nautilus Round 2? Okay. Shoots. That one, the switch was coming off. There we go. That is what GMK Merlin was inspired by. It's one of the things that it was. It was mainly inspired by Triumph Adler. Triumph Adler and Nautilus. JVVYYY, hello! Thanks for joining in. Okay. We're almost done with half of the soldering. That was not flat. There we go. In fact, normally I'd be done soldering by now. I'm just thinking about all those people who have battleship type boards. I wonder how long it took them to do it. Alright. Okay. Let's play some jazzy music now. As we did here. Let's play this. Jazz. Props for the patience to make a cave. It's enjoyable. Like, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't enjoy it to an extent. Like, all my life I've really been a hands-on DIY kind of person. So this is just an extension of some of my passions. I find soldering very relaxing, to be honest. I just wish that it wasn't so caustic. And we are done with half the board. By which half, I just soldered one leg of each switch so that I can now inspect if any are not as flush as I thought they would be. And I already see one that's not as flush as I thought it would be. No problem. Easy fix. Easy fix. Yeah. There we go. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yep. It all happens to be the ones that share other layouts. by Tangerines, yeah? Alright. I'm not seeing anything that's obvious, so I'm just gonna assume that everything is good, and I will solder the other half of the switch. It's gonna be a much better typing experience than the stupid Cherry MX Reds that I had earlier. Wait, guys, look. Cherry MX Red versus Tangerines. I know for sure it's already gonna be a much better. It's gonna sound much, well, maybe not sound much better because these are cherries. But the smoothness, oh gosh. I can feel the scratch. I can hear it too, past the noise of my little fume sucker. Cherry linears aren't the best sounding switches. They're not, but the cherry top does make them sound good. Which is why a lot of people have ended up using cherry tops in the same way that I have. If I could redo my Satisfaction, I would have used a cherry top on my inks, instead of just stuck with regular ink. What is the best sounding switch? That is for you to decide, but I personally think it's whatever switch that has a combination of a cherry top and some other material. I'm very biased towards the cherry sound. JVY mentions that it's also dependent on the case. Yeah, for sure. Gotta consider the case. Sometimes you gotta consider the plate. And even the keycaps. Oh, keycaps and mounting method. My low profile clue board had Gateron inks on it, and I compared it to my Volcano 660. Same switches, lubed like the same way, but the Volcano 660 sounds better. Could you show us how to film a switch? So you take a switch and you put it in front of you. Then you take your favorite camera, you point it at it, and you press record. And depending on how long you want to film for, you know, that's when you press stop. And that concludes the Mech Merlin tutorial on how to film your Switch. In a similar fashion, the best gaming Switch is the Nintendo Switch. Intense watching how a magician is soldering. We're about, I'd say, 65 to 70% done with the soldering. So one of these vials that I'm using right now can usually go to 60% and a little bit more. Granted, this wasn't completely full when I used it, but I think I might use up like the whole thing. You should film your dog. Fog film. What did you miss? I'm still soldering. There's nothing really changed while you were gone. It's a large board. I'm on the bottom row now, but then after that I still gotta do the numpad. The numpad and the arrow keys. Thankfully, arrow keys don't take very long. We should raid Plume keyboards? Yeah. Sounds good. That depends on how far I get and how far they're going. I just actually recently joined their channel. Oof. Okay. This is probably one of those that will require straightening, so I will solder that in later. Okay. Numpad time. Whew. I think I've been at this for an hour. More than an hour soldering. What soldering iron is this? This is a Weller WS51. Using a chisel tip. I don't know the exact model number of the tip. I've had this since almost close to a decade by now. So if I had to buy a new one, I would go for a Hakko. Simply because here in Washington, Hakko seems to be more readily available in terms of parts. But I didn't know that at the time when I bought this. Panda Lavin says, "Well, go to sleep. Have fun soldering the rest of the board." Well, thanks for dropping in, man. And I'm glad you made it back to Germany safely. Germany. 2 more switches to go, and then we can inspect my handiwork. Alright. Okay, let's see. Did I miss any joints? Or are any joints soldered weirdly? Oh, I missed a joint. Right here on the number row. Yeah, if you guys are building boards for the first time, make sure you inspect after you've soldered. Because if you jump to putting your board together without inspecting all of them, you'll just have to take your board apart again. I see some that are not perfect cones or are carving the pad completely. It's just me adding some fit and finish. Too much solder on that one. There we go. Yeah, bottom row's not completely done yet. But that was intentional. Alright, stuff looks good. Okay. Let's see if we can align this bottom row properly. It's these two keys. They're troublemakers. Especially on a PCB mount board. Where would I put those keys? Alt. Oh, I guess tab works too. Actually, not bad. Yeah, that looks fine. That looks good, actually. Great, perfect. Excellent. Okay, let's test the board. Make sure it actually works, right? Before I start putting it all together. Ah, so nice to have a working keyboard. Alright, here goes. Janky Render, if you do exclamation point build, you will find out the information to your question. Uh-oh. Did I not? Oh wait, it's because I didn't solder them. That's why. I was like, huh, what's going on here? Why are these guys not working out for me? There we go. There we go. All right, let's plug that back in. Plug that back in. Okay. And R control, perfect. And this should be my FN key. Very odd. Not quite working there. Oh well, I don't mind too much. I don't particularly use that key. That's odd. It must be an FN key. Guess I'll program it later. Alright. We are good. Ah. No more sounds of the extractor. Just tin my iron really quick. Right. No more iron. No more iron. Perfect. Okay. There we go. Did I test the numlock? Yeah, it triggered as well. Yeah, keep touching that. Okay. Before I put the board together, I just want to take a few moments just to talk about some of the people who make this stream possible. It's not just you guys doing all your follows, doing all your bit donations and subscriptions. You guys are actually a big part of that too. But I do have sponsors, so let's talk about them really quick. Here we go. Let's start with my first sponsor of the stream, Zeal PC. Zeal PC is a vendor up in Vancouver, Canada. He's most famous for his Zelios, Xylens, Telios, all that good stuff. If you're interested in visiting his site, I do get a small kickback from everything you purchase. So yeah, check him out when you guys have an opportunity. He also finally delivered my Xeno to me. So expect an upcoming build possibly in the next 2 weeks. We'll see. My next sponsor is Dixie Mech, located in the United States over in Alabama. He's currently running GMK Botanical. That's his key set for the month. Based on its name, it's a green base set, a very muted green base set. It runs from March 4th till the 31st. His other proxies are My Keyboard, Daily Clack, and Ilum KB. So definitely check those out. In terms of pricing, looks like the standard set is 119 bucks. That is really good. Novelties are 34 and space bars are 24. Let's take a closer look at this set really quick before I go further. Oh, look at that. Of course he's got one of these. I really like this dust mat. I really like that. That's so like refreshing. Oh man, I might have to get in on this. And he has a dark one too. Oh, that's pretty nice too. Let's see. Yeah, but definitely one thing about Dixie Mech that's running this month, if you guys haven't heard already, he is running Mech Madness 2020, just like he did last year. It's already too late to submit all of your brackets, but if you still want to be part of this, definitely vote on your favorite key sets on Instagram. Okay, so just go on his Instagram, and I think it's based on the number of likes and all that. Yeah, as I said, it's already too late to submit your brackets. But if you are doing very well in your bracket, you have a chance to win keyboards from KeyCult, from TGR, and a few other sponsors. Definitely check that out. My next sponsor is Novelkeys, another US retailer. He's located over in West Virginia. He has a few group buys running. I think he has 3. The first one is GMK Taro, which I talked about briefly earlier. Let's see if I can pull that out again. Here we go. So back when R1 first occurred, some of you may know I am slightly colorblind, so I can't see purples very well, which is one reason why I stay away from purple sets. But I'm also a bubble tea drinker, so I had to pick his novelties. These are unfortunately not part of the R2 set, but I believe the colors are identical. So definitely check them out. Base set pretty much looks the same for 110 bucks. You got milk tea mods, boba alphas. I might go for boba alphas. Those look really nice. Extra toppings. Ooh, pretty. But as I said earlier, they no longer have those bubble tea novelties, unfortunately. Another group buy that's running on Novelkeys is this one. This one I think is one of the more unique sets in our community right now. It's a triple shot set. Triple shot cherry profile. So the English or the Latin is red, the keycap color is white, and the Japanese is in black. And what's interesting is that because of the triple shot process, this does bring up the price of it. That's $100. That's only $20 less than your typical GMK set. But hopefully JTK isn't as burdened as GMK these days, so maybe these will be delivered sooner rather than later. Group buy ends March 15th. Another set that he's running is this one, SA Sail. Not really my colorway. The green doesn't look as nice, but what I think looks really nice is the associated desk mat. Look at that. I might have to get this one and the botanical one. Let's see. He's running 3 group buys. I think that is all the group buys he's running. But if you don't want to join any of his group buys, you just want to buy stuff from Novelkeys, definitely use my discount code. I get nothing back from this. This is purely for people who buy from his site. If you use discount code WIZARD, you will get 5% off your entire order, except on group buys, pre-orders, and extras. My next sponsor is Keebio. Keebio is a fellow QMK collaborator. He is most well known for his Iris and his Q-Frequency. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correct, and his Nyquist. But one thing I really enjoy from his site, one thing that I absolutely try to get every time it's in stock, are peel-away sockets. If you've ever tried to desolder a Pro Micro before, you know it's next to impossible unless you have lots of patience and have the right tools. With peel-away sockets, if you have a broken Pro Micro, Elite C, or Proton C, you literally just have to pry it off. No need for a fancy desoldering tool or like anything like that. Last but not the least, Project Keyboard. Project Keyboard is also located here in the United States. They're currently running GMK Ashes. There we go. GMK Ashes. Oh, I just noticed it. Look. Not sure if you guys can see it on stream, but he has ash falling as part of his little UI here. Base set goes for 130. You got several other kit options like the Ghost set, Caldera, Lahar. Man. Ooh, look at that. I like those volcanoes. That's pretty cool. This might actually look good on my Volcano 60. My Volcano 660. Oh man. 130 bucks. Maybe I can swing it. We'll see. It is tax season. We'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Anything on pre-order on his site? No, there's not. Oh, look. I didn't know these were still going on. Hangul, awesome, awesome. Cool, cool, cool. All right, guys. Let's go back to this build and finally put it into its case. Alright guys, just a quick recap. This is my replacement PCB, a QMK compatible PCB finally for one of the very first boards that I have built, the Dolch Pac 60. Previously built with a Jigon PCB and with the best switches at the time. 2015 time period at least. Cherry MX Red and Cherry MX Vintage Blues, or Pale Blues as someone in chat mentioned earlier. I did not even lube stabilizers on this board. That's how noobish I was when I built this. But yeah, this is running a Jigon PCB. Not sure if I have much use for it anymore. But yeah, PCB is done. I opted to not use a plate just to stay true with that PCB mount feel. Let's try and put it in its case. Okay, here goes. Look, I've got this little harness here that doesn't seem like it's gonna work too much anymore. Let's see, I might have to do some... I wonder if I can take that off. Yeah, this was all done to fit the previous board, but no, that seems too long or too short. Okay, let's try that. Let us see how this fits. Man, what? Guys, I ended up using like putty on it just to elevate it. Huh. It's so interesting. It's always so interesting looking back at work that you used to do. And you're like, why did I do that? And would I do it the same way? Would I do this the same way? I don't know, to be honest. Let's see. Goes in there. There, let's try and connect it up first. Oh, Merlin, what were you thinking in 2015? Okay. So for the Liku, the USB cable came out from the middle. Like this one supports that too, but this one seems like it's from the side. So man, we have to pull some USB gymnastics here. Okay. Not that bad. Not that bad. Okay. And then what do I need to do next? Does it latch on first and go on top, or? Okay, hold on. Before we do this, I'm going to try and put the case together without the PCB first. Without the PCB, it just... Meister says, this looked kind of funny, but nice as well. This case, yeah, it's so like old school. Okay, it looks like it latches from the front first, especially since there are grooves here. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Now I know. Now I know how it goes. Actually, let me just plug stuff up first and then test the board again. Just because, what if this extension cable that I have is broken, you know? Don't want to figure that out after I put the board together. Alright, stuff is hooked up. Oh, hooray, it works. Awesome. Okay, perfect. That's good. No worries. No worries, it works. No worries. The color matching cherry pumpkins and purple stabs. Yeah, well, thing is, green and purple work very well with hyperfuse. Oh man, having to bend the cable that way isn't conducive. I wonder. That enough of a stretch? That is a very tight stretch. Not sure if I should do that. Where does the PCB fit? Does it rest on that ledge? I think it rests on that ledge. Hopefully I'm right. There. Man, what was I thinking back in 2015? Just don't destroy the PCB connector. Yeah, exactly, right? Because look at that. I have like a almost 90-degree angle here. So, yeah, if I only had an extra... Maybe if I had like an extra 2 millimeters or something, would probably work. Okay. Seems like the real struggle with this is making sure that cable fits appropriately. Annoying. Well, let's just try. Let's just try without the extension. Let's try without the extension. How far can I go without the extension? Okay, that's not a good idea either. Because it's flexing the PCB if I do that. Okay, I'm just gonna have to stick with this. Not fun, but it is what it is. It is what it is. There we go. All right. Would you recommend Dolch over MX? I'm not sure what your question is. Dolch is a name of a company and so is MX, but Dolch doesn't make the same products as MX. Okay, I'm starting to remember the frustrations I had with this board back in the day. It's all coming back. It's all coming back. And I just remembered that one reason why this was dangerous is because the ridges, the ribs on this, have been reported to knock off diodes. So let's not move it around too much here. Yeah, this is confusing. Thanks, Meister. VBram says is the blankly blank on QMK configurator. I can't see what you're typing because I don't let people post profanity and also URLs. One thing you can do to make sure is you can go on QMK Configurator and check yourself. You know? No harm in doing that. How did I get this cable to fit? Aha! Aha! Guys, I think I got it. Whew. Okay, now here is the hard part. I need to actually get it to screw in. The VRAM says Dolch CR? Okay, have the right bit. We can do this. We can do this. We can do this. Whitpack says, wow. What are you saying wow to? Uh-oh. Ah. It looks nice. Yeah, it does. Hopefully it types nice too. Okay. Just installed foam in an old Mastrop alt. All right. Look at that. Okay, let's plug it in. Hopefully it still works after plugging it in. Okay. Yay, it works. Whew. I was a little concerned that it wouldn't. Yay, awesome. Okay, we're good. Good for now. Rebuild is almost complete. Yay. Okay, so I'm most concerned how the space bar will work since it didn't work last time. The International says, what went wrong with it? You mean the caps? The space bar? Oh my gosh, the space bar works. It's super rattly. Super rattly. I think that's like the case right now. Yeah, that's definitely the case. These old guys. International says, what is it? A keyboard? Yes, this is a keyboard. It's indeed a keyboard. Here, I think I'm gonna see if I can temper some of that. International says upside down, maybe? What is upside down? The space key? No, it's not. That's just how these old keyboards are. Even with the Durock stabs. It does sound better than my previous build. I think it was primarily related to the stabilizers that I was using. I was using cherry PCB mounts that weren't appropriately set in place to begin with, so that's probably why. But with these Durocks, things are sounding better. Alright, we are gonna start putting caps on these pretty soon. And so just dab a little more dielectric grease on. Right. Congratulations for the build. Yeah, thanks, man. It'd be good to get this board. Well, the board was always working. It just wasn't working with my firmware of choice. And that goes a long way when the board works with the firmware that you like. You know? Okay, let's put these keycaps on. Giving it that nice vintage look. Let's say Alt. Yeah, that already sounds so much better. Alright, let's put the space bar on again. Oh man, such a hollow sounding board. Alright. Let's put all this stuff on. I'm excited. I'll probably use this board for a bit. But what I don't like about it is that it's so big. It's not really conducive to be using when you're trying to build other stuff, you know? Oh no! Oh shoot. That backspace isn't fitting quite right. Okay. I never noticed that earlier. Oof. Oof is the correct term. Okay, let's just make sure that the PCB actually all fits. Let's put the escape key on. Oh, nope. I think the PCB might be pushed up a little too much. Okay. All right. All right. Man, I don't really want to take this apart just to push the PCB down. But I think I'm gonna have to. Okay. Dolch Pac says it's thick. Yeah, right? Okay. I have a feeling maybe if I loosen it a bit, I can actually oh, that spacebar has never sounded so good. Yeah, I don't get it. Those posts are in the correct holes, so I don't know what's going on. Ah, there we go. Now it works. Now it works. Perfect. Perfect. There we go. Okay, we got it. We got it, guys. QWERTY. One goes there. One. Or is that a numkey one? No, I don't know. Bracket, bracket, bracket. ZXCVBNM. Ah, F2. This board might be better suited if I use cherry. Maybe I'll put cherry on it once I decide on a set. Because I feel like the SA caps kind of brush around these edges. It definitely feels like it. I'll have to experiment a bit. Connor says yes. Yeah, this already feels so much nicer. It's hella smooth too. I'm just super curious to see if I could build any more of these and put them in a board such as a 60% or a 65. Honor says I have the TKC PCB in mind. Oh yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Are you using SA caps as well? No, the stock caps. Okay, yeah. Very nice. I'm surprised you were able to get one of those. Those were really expensive back in the day. Quite the girthy board. Take it down to the surf, the local shore rig, once you're finished building it. Well, imagine, back in the day, by back in the day I mean probably the early 90s or so, this used to be connected to a computer that you could carry like a briefcase. So imagine like a bunch of network techs dragging this around. Dolch made one of these, but Finisar actually ended up having the exact same unit, but with the Finisar brand. Finisar, in my opinion, is also more well known in the networking industry than Dolch. Thanks, Jigon. What's my favorite profile? My two favorite profiles are Cherry and DSA. And Cat is also really nice. Like, the only profile that I actually really don't like using is SA, which is what you're looking at right now. So more than likely, maybe even tomorrow's stream, I'll change it up for some GMK caps. We'll see, we'll see. Type on it for just for a tiny bit today. And you guys can give me your opinions. Your space bar is bad. That's that. Oops. March is going to be hard pick, which GMK said I'm not buying. I feel like every month is hard. Like this month, there's no particular set that really speaks out to me, but I am buying GMK Honey because I want to support my local Seattle folk. Honey's a must-buy for you. You prefer the sound and feel of PBT, so you're safe from all these GMK sets. Arrow keys, where are you? Yep. the arrow up key scrapes against the case. Great. Looks like I'm gonna have to take this board apart in the near future just to get everything aligned properly. But maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Okay, let me consult what a GAT1800 looks like so I can figure out what keys go where. Okay, numlock goes there. Divide goes where? Divide, multiplication, pause and break. Do I have that? Del goes there, and page down, page up, home and end, minus goes there, I guess. Insert. And okay, not quite, but oh well. Ta-da! Rebuilt, running QMK. So maybe later I'll try out the VIA implementation on it. But let's try how this board sounds. I'll do a few quick typing tests. There we go. Let's pick out the hyperfuse theme. There we go. Hyperfuse theme. Let's plug in the board. Let's see how well I type on these. Okay, man, this is such a massive board. Let's pause the music. Yep, music's paused. Let me aim the mic closer. There we go. All right, let's see how this goes. Meister says, is it light? It's a little heavier than the stock one just because I put in a lot of Dynamat, which is the sound dampening material that they use for cars. Let's see, it's flat. Okay. Let's try. I can't type on SA 111. It actually sounds pretty good. I will try putting GMK on it. It's at some future time period. But man, okay, I'm gonna try typing with the feet up. Let's see if that improves my typing feel. Let's try. $145, 91%. Lowly Knight likes the sound. I think it sounds just like what you would expect for an SA keycap set. But yeah, Lowly Knights. I like the combination of the huge SA sound and the case design. Yeah, it makes it look very vintage. But at the same time, let's see. Let's do another typing test. I'll try and go for accuracy this time, since SA is not the most comfortable of key sets. I'll probably drop by like 20 or 30 words per minute. I already screwed up. There we go. $116, woohoo! Woohoo! Okay. So my previous build of this with the Jigon board and the weird spacebar, it definitely did not sound as good as this. But even with the SA keycaps, I can feel that this is so much smoother. Let's see. Let me just compare that to my Telios up here. Yeah, so these are unlubed Telios in front of me. These are lubed tangerines. Yeah, the tangerines definitely feel so much smoother. Yeah, dang. Okay, this is a much nicer board now. Will I actually use it? Maybe, maybe. See, rate my setup says I can type like 40 words per minute while looking. It takes time. I didn't just suddenly start at like over 100 words per minute overnight. I feel like in college, my top typing speed was around 70. And that was like with me trying really, really hard. So I've improved ever since I've joined this hobby. But here, let's do one more typing test and we can end the stream. It's nice and big and smooth. $149, 95%. All right, yeah. Sounds really nice now. Go, that's SA spacebar, cubic spacebar. Okay, I'm gonna say that this board sounds better than the NK65 with Telios and cubic profile keycaps. All right. I am satisfied, actually. This turned out much better than I thought it would. Makes me happy. Makes me very happy. Yeah, I'll try using this for the next couple days. It's kind of like finding an old car that you used to drive and being like, oh, I remember you. Yeah. All right, folks. Can we raid Plume My Keyboards? Sure, let me check them out. Are you a big fan of Plume My Keyboards? Oh, Tasachka is on as well. Plume my keyboards. Let's see. I'm not even following Plume my keyboards right now, but yeah, let's do this. Yeah, I'm not even following them. Follow. I just followed them. All right. All right, Plume, get ready. Not sure if you're ready for this, but all right, guys. Let us raid Plume my keyboards. But before we do that, just wanted to say thank you everyone for joining. I know this was not your typical build. This was a rebuild of a very old keyboard with newer components. I sure hope that you guys enjoyed watching it. If you want any of your boards built by yours truly, definitely hit me up on my Discord channel or any of my social medias. I'm MechMerlin everywhere, so just check me out there. And yeah, if you guys want to watch more keyboard content, stay tuned because I'm just about to raid Plume my keyboards. Here we go, all 72 viewers. Thanks guys. Have a good rest of your weekend. All right, let's go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye.